Hey everybody, it's James, otherwise known as Escape Punk Lefty, finally back here with another video. And today we're going to be doing something of a little different thing. Instead of arguing with or making political commentary about somebody saying some crazy stuff or saying something stupid or whatever, we're gonna go back to basics, basically. So basically, there's been this referendum going around on the left that a lot of men, especially working class men, mostly working class white men, and even about 12% of black men, wind up voting for Trump because they felt like leftists and liberals, which are two separate camps, by the way, but sometimes work together, often at a time. But anyway, the point being is that ignored men's issues and did not push enough propaganda talking about men's mental health, you men feeling lonely, and men's place in society today. And a lot of the reason why a lot of people voted for Trump, which will come up in another video, was because built up misogyny, antagonism towards women from what they perceive to be an oppressive and unfair dating system. And we somewhat do live in a world, I'm not going to lie, sometimes where some people will criticize men's dating habits or the things that we do, but they won't really give you ideas on things that you can do to improve your chances at finding a partner. And unfortunately, the manosphere, the far right, has a monopoly on talking to men about these different personal issues. So I know my channel is extremely tiny, but if this video be the video, that's it. I just wanted to speak on this because, number one, I wouldn't say I'm a former right winger necessarily, but I was kind of an AG black pill incel, which are by definition right wing, I guess. I still ironically voted for Hillary in 2016 though. But I guess about the time it was time to vote, I started to come out of it and see the inevitable political conclusions of the people I was associating with and the things that were happening around the country, just for the very fact of somebody being so far to the right running for and going to be president. You know what I'm saying? So that caused me to slowly over time, along with just having more life experiences with different kinds of people and understanding how the world really works and getting my first job, slowly lurched me to the far left, which is another topic for another time. So all that to be said, I know what a lot of men, especially young black men, are going through, and the reasons why people go to the far right is not necessarily always 100% because they're bad people that want to hurt people. It doesn't start out that way. It just comes from hurt people who want advice, but before they find advice from a left-leaning person or even a honest, centrist, apolitical person about dating and navigating relationships, which I won't get into in this video, that'll probably have to be a part 2 in the future, they find people on the far right, Andrew Tate, Sneeko, Fresh and Fit, Aiden Ross, Nick Fuentes, that pretend like women are out to get men and that every single woman is either a CEO or OnlyFans model that's trying to belittle and take advantage of men. When I'll get into that a little later because that's its own section that's on the script that's right here, or slash bullet points of things I want to talk about. That's a whole thing right there. But instead of teaching men how to be better men, how to be kind, gentle, understanding, honest, hardworking, and nuanced and smarter, they teach men to be more aggressive, angry, and ignorant to the world around them. They use people's anger against them for a means to their own ends. So without further ado, let's actually get into the advice. I gotta unlock my phone in order to do so because this is what I'm reading off of. I'm reading off my phone notes. So the first thing I want to talk about as I get into this, there is no definitive answer to helping you find. All right. There's no definitive answer, excuse me, to helping you find a wife or a girlfriend. There's no definitive answer. The only thing people can really do is give you rough advice on things that you can do to improve your chances. Now, if anybody in person, any podcaster, political commentator, pickup artist, or dating guru tells you that there's a 10-step thing that you can do or something that you can buy to instantly start attracting women and bring women to you, they're lying to you, because dating is honestly a roulette. And just because you start the path of self improvement and doing the right things for yourself does not necessarily mean that you're going to find somebody. You can, self improve, hygiene, gym, better jobs, good jobs, car, house, apartment, all that stuff. But if you don't improve as a person, you don't learn to make yourself more sociable, you don't understand, kindness, understanding, honesty, work ethic, and stuff like that, you might not find nobody. But even if you was to do everything right for years, because it took me a long time before I got married and before I even got my first girlfriend. But that's a whole nother story for another time. My point being is that there's no such thing as a definitive answer that's going to help you find a special someone. And this is a piece of advice that can go for men or women. And ironically enough, a lot of this dating advice that I have up here with me can apply to men or women, or, respectfully, anybody in between, non-binary folks, which ironically enough have a section in this video. So I say, as a man, the first thing you can do is improve your hygiene. And I'm being real with you, because as a black nerd, as somebody that, likes all the shit, anime, skateboarding, cartoons, comic book, you see a toy shelf behind me of Transformers toys, a lot of y'all need to work on y'all hygiene. There's no reason why you wearing the same fucking Reeboks. Whoops, just cause I'm gonna have to edit that out. There's no reason why you wearing the same Reeboks that you graduated high school in, and you talking about why you can't get a girlfriend. Imagine how that looks on your body, and imagine how those shoes smell when you take them off. You have too many people around, like Asmongold, who don't put no effort into making themselves sociable or dateable, at least even in a superficial, physical way, and they complain about being single, they complain about being alone, they complain about not being able to find nobody. Because don't no woman want to sit up under somebody that smells like feet all day. Women don't want to sit under that. Women want to, at the least, if they're going to sit under somebody, they want to sit under somebody who takes care of themselves from a basic level. Because you don't understand how, not just the women, can apply to either gender, how unattractive and just nasty having a bad smell can be for you. It's not a good thing that you want to, portray yourself having. And it's, so, if you are a person struggling with dating and you ain't doing a bare minimum, like taking a shower or going to the Walmart or dollar store and getting like some new t-shirts, new drawers, or underwear, however you want to put it, new socks, you're not, washing up at least how many times would you say you should wash up at least? At least 4 times a week. Because, sometimes you can't wash up every day. If somebody says they wash up 7 days a week, they're lying, especially if they work for a living. The point being is that at least the 4 to 6 times a week, you should be getting in the shower. You should be wearing new clothes. You should be doing laundry. You should be taking care of yourself. Because especially if we're talking for a men's perspective, the women can get out of here right now. Women don't want to be around nobody that is musty, stinking, and wearing dirty, worn down clothes from years ago. And it's not about having expensive clothes either. Like I said, go to Walmart, go to the dollar store, have on a nice t-shirt, go get you a nice Naruto shirt or something like that, or a Yu-Gi-Oh shirt. Go to the skate shop, get you a $20 pair of Dickies work pants or something like that. Get you some Vans Airs for $40. Or if you don't want to do that, just wear some cheap shoes you just find at Walmart. And that's what most women are like literally looking for. Most women that are not superficial. Because women understand to an extent, especially if they really love you, that people are not going to be wearing expensive clothes every day, especially if you have a real job and you're somebody that's actually working for a living. When women say they expect a man to be well dressed often of the time, especially when it comes to alternative women, what they mean is somebody who does not smell bad and somebody has on clean clothes. And there's different ways you can look. Like for me, for instance, and I said this in a video before, I dressed like a skateboarder from the 1990s. Baggy pants, bands, punk rock t-shirts, skate shop shirts, whatever you want to say. Sometimes I wear my anime stuff. And that's all women are looking for. And that also applies to hoodies that applies to pants. It's not about the clothes being expensive. It's just about you looking decent. There's different styles. You know, there's street, goth, punk, skater, freaking emo. You know, you can be the gym bro and stuff like that. You wearing like your Under Armour shirt and stuff like that. Just make sure the Under Armour shirt ain't dirty when you trying to show off your muscles. And when you got on the Under Armour shirt, the freaking Under Armour beater, don't be musty. Because that's step number one in dating, is taking care of yourself. And it's not taking care of yourself to impress people. It's taking care of yourself because when you are, you know, I'm not going to lie, musty, stinking, you're reeking like bad smells off of yourself. Don't no woman want to sit up under nobody that is not taking care of their hygiene at all. Especially men. Because I'm not going to say women don't smell bad, but I'm going to be real with you, brother, since this is a man's episode of a podcast, a series that I'm doing. Men smell worse than women. So you not showering and taking care of yourself is amplified by the fact that you a man. You going to work, you sleeping in the same hoodie for a month, getting up gaming. You might go out to Walmart to look at some Yu-Gi-Oh cards or something like that, and you don't spend any money on self-improvement or looking better. You just blame women for your lack of not only social engagement with women, ironically enough, but you also, you know, don't put in any effort into making yourself look any good. And no woman wants to be around no guy who can't at least get a clean t-shirt from Family Dollar and a nice pair of Walmart pants and some new socks. That's all women mostly ask for. And you got superficial women out there, but if it's a superficial woman, stay away from her and you distance yourself. But that's another section of this cast I'm not gonna talk about right now. You know, I'm wait till later for that. But yeah, your hygiene, I feel like, is the number one and most important thing when it comes to men's dating and interpersonal relationship. It's not about how expensive the things that you're using is. It's about if you're using them and if you are actually trying to take care of yourself. Can't stress that enough. Oh boy. 2, let me see, what else did I put on here? You got to be open-minded about your options. I'm sorry to say it, because you got a lot of men that are like, and you know, I'm not trying to tell you to, like, you know, quote unquote date trans women. I'm not trying to tell you quote unquote date like big girls and stuff like that. But you have a lot of guys, you know, and this goes especially bad for the alternative community and stuff like that, where if a woman is dressed gothic, punk, or emo, she's viewed as unattractive, a SJW, and that there's something wrong with her. Here's a news flash for you fools. The women that are A, dressed more expressively, or B, non-gender conforming, are usually some of the coolest women or people that you can be around. And it's in your best interest to be open-minded and actually give these people a chance. Stop straw-manning people and letting these right-wing political commentators tell you that every woman with blue hair is some SJW that hates men and stuff. A lot of these women are looking for relationships too, but they can't find one. They can't find people who are attractive because a lot of you people hate them just because how they dress. Like, what sense do that make for you to be like a goth man, for instance, or you call yourself emo, whatever, and then you trying to date a straight-laced cheerleader girl? It's not that these people are out of your league, but it's just these people are not people that you have anything in common with. And that's okay. You can't always have the people that you want, and the woman that you wind up with probably ain't gonna be the person that you expect. Like, a lot of y'all dudes, bro, in this community, and that's on the right in general, be expecting your woman to be some blonde-haired, skinny, waifish white woman that's a conservative. That's rare in today's society, ironically enough. Well, at least in our subculture, that's rare. That's hard to find. It's not a lot of waifish, traditionalist women in high school that have, number one, no priorities for their future. 2, no prospects for the future. Don't want a job. Don't want a career. 3, who are conservative and willing to cede their civil rights to impress men. those women are rare. And most of the women on the internet that claim to be that person are lying or already married. And just because you married to somebody with, like, you know, left leaning political views, and I say this as a leftist married to a leftist, that doesn't mean you can't have a traditional relationship. And not to mention the fact, and that's a whole nother video, for the most part, traditional relationships as we know them have disappeared and they don't exist anymore. You can still have likeness to them, but having a relationship where it's some wayfish housewife 100% submitting to the man, and she's not having any like social or economic drive to do anything with herself, to pursue anything, is very rare. And again, most of the women who are saying that on the internet are saying it so you keep watching their videos. They're telling you what you want to hear. Moving on, that can also take me to the fact that, you know, those women that are dressed differently and stuff like that, or women in general, all women are not OnlyFans models or strippers. Like, come on with this BS, bro. Most women are working class people like you. And that's regardless of how good that they look. Because it's a lot of really, really, really attractive women that are just normal people. They're not OnlyFans models. They're not strippers. They're not XXX stars. They're just really good looking women who people, first of all, who so happen to be really attractive that are trying to make it in life. They working at Target. They working at ABC Warehouse or something like that. They're working at a coffee shop. They're working as a freaking janitor somewhere. You know what I'm saying? They're working in a factory like you. Most women just work normal jobs. Most women are not these herrings lying the streets trying to force men to take care of them. Which, ironically enough, y'all say that y'all want that world, but then when you come across gold digging and superficial women, you get mad. But people ain't ready to have that conversation yet. The point being is that when you get in your head that all women are out to get you and all women live their lives like that, you start to dismiss every social interaction you have with a woman that looks decent as somebody that's trying to take advantage of you. When at the end of the day, that's not true. There's a difference between the things that we see and we hear about on the internet and what's really going on outside, or what's even going on dating apps and like that. And these people will have you convinced that because they don't. Well, it's two reasons. Number one, a lot of these podcasters, these so-called manosphere red pill or black pill guys, don't want your life to get better. Because if your life gets better, you start talking back and interacting with that woman that you find really attractive and stuff like that, and y'all wind up dating, y'all wind up, getting it on, y'all wind up having a child and moving on in your life, then they lost an audience member. So they would constantly tell you to, oh my God, this woman's trying to take advantage of you. You have to look over your shoulder. It's a marketing tactic. And it's sad that so many people fall for that. And two, and I brought this up when I was criticizing Mark Robinson a couple weeks ago, Fresh and Fit brings these people on because it's cross promotion. These people purposely associate with one another because they both benefit from being on the podcast. Because what happens is Fresh and Fit and some of these other whatever podcast does it too, when they invite somebody on as, if they're not because notice again, they never invite on women. Open my script back up. Oof, I'm gonna drop my phone. They never invite women on that are social workers, sociologists, gender studies majors, politicians, you know what I'm saying? Or women who are active political commentators that are leftist, feminists, and all that other stuff that actively go over social problems. They always invite OnlyFans models, and uneducated women for the most part. And there's nothing wrong with being uneducated. I only got a high school diploma, but my point being is they invite people on who are not willing to actually break down and discuss the issues. They invite people on that are, one, trying to benefit from being on a podcast, which I'll get to in a second, or two, who they can steamroll in debates. Because even if a woman has like a business management degree, she might not necessarily be the most informed on social issues. She just knows that the BS that they're pushing on a podcast is wrong. And she can pick at that, but she can't defeat them in an argument because she doesn't necessarily have the enough information and the talking points to take these guys on. So they get to cycle through women, making them look bad, making them look foolish, making them look like they don't know what they're talking about. And it also goes with the fact that a lot of people who watch these podcasts, because they're so intercourse repressed, are adult film show addicts. And they can't stop watching these women, even though they hate them, they hate what they stand for, they hate what they're saying. A lot of these men that be in those comments cussing these women out, saying that they're, not valuable humans and all the other epithets and stuff, be some of these women's biggest customers. So these women go on there, and even if they get steamrolled, there's gonna be at least 100 fools that, oh man, I found the new, woman. And then it's like conservative men love, the dumb woman like mentalities slash archetype. Somebody that they can steamroll, somebody that they can't argue with. This is a tactic that they work on purpose. And it's not a coincidence that so happen all the women that go onto these podcasts are women who are not educated enough to have a real back and forth with these men about the social issues that they're discussing. And all women are not like this. It's really that simple. And people will say, but it's a lot of them out there. Then it's like the Bible says, come from among thee, be separate. You move on with your life. Like, you don't think that before I was married, like years before I was married, right? I used to be on all the dating sites. Tinder, Meet Me, Bumble, all that shit. And I used to be on these dating apps. So I know these type of women exist, but when they hit you with something saying, because they're targeting sexually repressed men who are looking for relationships, that's a good place to target. That's just capitalism for you. So when you come across these women, don't get mad, don't get bent out of shape, don't get discouraged for doing the things that you want to do. Because if you match with a woman on Tinder, right, and then her next thing is that, oh, subscribe to my OnlyFans. Oh, can you pay my bill? Just stop talking to her and move on to the next woman. It's really that simple. It's nothing to get mad about. It's nothing to ponder about. It's nothing like politically, against men. If anything, it's just a capitalism thing or a marketing thing, because they are just chasing the market of lonely men who are looking for, that sort of relief. So they put their information for their adult entertainment on dating sites. It's simple marketing. It's not a targeted trajectory to destroy or hurt men. And again, when you find these women, keep going. You don't stop in life because you come across a disappointment. And I guess I can also add this here because I forgot to write this down. If people are listening this far. Another thing that men need to learn, and I honestly did forget to put this in a script, as far, and this can go into the next topic, which I'm going to talk about political views and how you treat people. Give me a second. So when we talk about being a man and practicing masculinity, a lot of the more superficial and ignorant podcasters would say being a man is about how tough you are, being a man is about how much money you have, being a man is about what you can do and how you can take advantage of somebody else. But I don't believe that. I believe being a man, you have to be strong enough to be gentle. Being a man or being a family man, especially how a lot of y'all claim y'all want to be, and this is coming from a family man, it takes patience, it takes honesty, it takes discipline, it takes kindness, it takes empathy, and it takes willingness to work with somebody else because they're flawed just like you. And you also need to accept within yourself that you're flawed. A huge part about masculinity that is deleted from society is comforting and understanding other people's struggle, people who are weaker than you. So if you only care about yourself, how is you gonna have a wife, let alone have a child, when everything is about you and everything that you can do and how you can take advantage of somebody else? We complain about, women being superficial and stuff like that, but we never really want to talk about and discuss the superficial belief systems and toxic beliefs that a lot of us men have or had at some point. You have to be strong enough to be gentle. You have to be understanding and willing to accept people who are different than yourself. You have to understand that nobody is on this planet is perfect, and that nobody that you meet and anybody that's meeting you is just not going to be perfect. And being in a relationship and navigating this dark world that we live in takes a lot of patience and kindness, not just bludgeoning. Because that's my main issue with all these people, and I say that as I'm projecting my voice. Like all these people I keep naming: Andrew Tate, Sneeko, Aiden Ross, Fresh and Fit, mediocre tutorials and reviews. He fits here too, even though he doesn't scream as much as those guys do, but they're politically associated with one another. Kevin Samuels too, rest in piss. Is that these people are always talking about being a man is about what you have, or hurting somebody. They're always being loud, screaming, not understanding people, apologizing for a system that's hurting innocent people instead of criticizing that system itself. This is the most unmasculine cartoon supervillain definition of a man that I could think of. So if you're expecting to date somebody and be in a relationship, but the only thing you care about is yourself, or taking advantage of or hurting people, whether it's through money or through muscle, you're not finding a partner, because from a technical standpoint, you're not a good person. You're not. I'm sorry. The next thing I'm going to talk about, ironically enough, is having a job and being progressive in life. What I mean by that, is that you have to do the bare minimum in life. Most women, ironically, nowadays don't care if you don't have a car. They don't care if you live at your mom's house. They don't care if you game all day, if you buy action figures, if you go to the gym, if you're a skateboarder, if you're a roller skater. No matter how many tattoos or piercings that you have. Most women just want a man who's kind and who does the bare minimum. And it's like, think about it. Number one, you should, a relationship, as far as going on dates and stuff like that, how are you going to have a relationship or date somebody if the whole, like every single thing that comes up, because you're going to get with a woman, but you're unemployed. You're not getting like Social Security or unemployment benefits or anything. So you're going to date somebody with no income? None at all? And it's like, this sounds like I'm being funny and like I'm being like a pro-capitalist here, but I'm just being real. Because you got a lot of guys out there, and this especially applies, nighttime, to the alternative community, where people think that they are going to get, or they ironically enough deserve, interpersonal relationships when they're not doing the bare minimum in life. Like, how are you gonna, like, first of all, it's not about the amount of money you make in a week or the job. You can work at McDonald's for the crying out loud that, for so many women. How many men have you seen working in McDonald's, and then you go talk to them? They got kids. They got a girl. They're seeing somebody. It's not about the job. It's not about the money. It's about the bare minimum. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, if you want to take your woman on a date, right? Let's say you want to do something free. You want to go for a walk next to the water, or at, let's say, a park, right? Y'all want to sit on the park bench, feed the pigeons, and talk. How are you going to get there if you don't have no income? Sure, you can walk there, but is she necessarily going to live in walking distance to come sit down with you? What about getting snacks? What about gifts? So every single time you see something that you want, she has to buy it. And I'm not saying that there's not women out here that do the same in reverse. But we're not talking about women today. We're talking about men's dating advice. And this married man is telling you to do the bare minimum and have a job so you can take care of yourself and at least provide some money, even if it's $40 or $50, to the dating experience, to go see a movie, to, have Netflix or something to stream on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's basic amenities. Because if you want to get in a relationship with nobody in under, like, today, capitalism today, or even I dare say under a market socialist world, how are you going to do that when you don't have any money to do anything? And I don't even really know if it's really anything else I can add to this section. Is just do the bare minimum. And if you're not working, be trying to find a job, or pursue a higher education. Because most women just want the bare minimum. And if you're not doing the bare minimum and you're getting rejected, it's because women, just like, we don't want women living off men and they're trying to destroy us by living off us and all this other shit. Women don't want that either. So you telling me, especially if you want to be so traditional, she has to have a job, have the kids, do the dishes, do the laundry, take care of the household, take care of the child for the most part, while you continue to sit on your behind playing video games all day or watching TV? That's not fair. A relationship is supposed to be a partnership. And even if y'all both working, like my wife, we both are employed right now. Takes two to tango in today's economy. You have to contribute to the relationship. Nobody wants to be in a relationship with somebody that can't take care of themselves and that can't do the bare minimum. And if you have a job, as a matter of fact, you can back up to step number 1. When you have a job, you can buy deodorant, you can buy body wash, you can buy new underwear, you can buy new socks, you can buy new t-shirts, you can buy new shoes. You can look better because you have a job. Moving on from that, ironically enough, a lot of y'all dudes need to work on your political views, and I hate to say it. And a lot of y'all people these days, like Asmongold and others, and Russell Brand is another one to do it. Technically, Tim Pool does it. And I can guarantee you, if I was to talk to some of these guys from the manosphere, they would say that they're apolitical. I'm not a right-wing or a left-wing person. I just call things out how I see it, because everybody's embarrassed to be called a right-winger. People are embarrassed to be called a Republican. It's easier to sell right-wing talking points to people when you lie and pretend like you're a centrist. My point being is that right-wing political views can ruin or stunt your chances to form interpersonal relationships. Like this, for instance. Okay, check me out. If one thing you need to understand is, this can even apply to the thing earlier, the woman you wind up with, even if they're born female, especially if you're alternative, might not be gender conforming. And I'm not saying that they're gonna be like on like testosterone and stuff trying to look like a man, but some women that look boyish are actually bisexual or straight. So you being a homophobe, you pushing people away, you not having a worldview that allows expression or making assumptions about people dressed a certain way, kind of dissuades away women that you might want to be with. And it even goes to simple clothing. Like, take a woman wearing like cropped shorts, like booty shorts, for instance. Just because a woman is wearing booty shorts in 85-degree weather does not mean that she's a quote-unquote hoe trying to show off for everybody. It's hot. And in an unfair society we live in, women have more options about that they can wear. They can expose more skin. It's really that simple sometimes. A lot of y'all read more into things than you need to. And I haven't even gotten to the meat of this yet, which I'm going to get to now. A lot of y'all dudes need to realize is that women, I dare even say conservative women, are going to have friends and relatives that are non-traditional. that are non-white, non-straight, non-gender conforming. Even conservative women have friends often at a time that are black, that are gay, that are lesbian, that are trans, that are non-gender conforming. And nobody want to be around somebody, and I know I said that a lot, who doesn't have kindness and empathy or just general understanding for people who are different than them. No woman wants to be around somebody who lacks self-control and discipline, who as soon as they see somebody who contradicts their worldview, you go crazy about it. Now, don't get me wrong, we all do it. Like, we tell our spouses little jokes. If I see, like, for instance, a Trump supporter in public or something like that, I might tell like a little joke, but the joke that I'm telling is not promoting bigotry, and it's not to spread harm or misinformation about somebody. But a lot of y'all don't be telling jokes. Y'all be saying horrible, just honestly, YouTube, horrible shit about innocent people that you don't know. And assuming things about people, again, that you don't know. And no woman wants to be around somebody who can't have general decorum around people who are different and who don't fit into the society's mold of being white or gender conforming. Because you don't know who's family with who. You don't know who's friends with who. You should work on these bigotries because it makes you a better person in general. Learning kindness and empathy and learning to respect people even though that they're different. But women, I gotta say, often at a time, don't like this. They don't. And I know it's ironically a lot of people saying that, oh, women will date conservative men and stuff like that. I think that's a little simplified about what actually goes on and why a lot of people are, because you can't say two things at once. Say that women are sleeping with right-wing men and women are horrible SJW harlots who won't give it up. Can't believe two of those things at once. And a lot of these people on the far right, like black pill incels and red pillars, are people who are not getting any action from women. And part of that reason why, again, is because their reprehensible political views make them terrible to be around. Because they don't have decorum, they don't have understanding and empathy for people that are different than them. And it's good to get to, again, learn that for your own self-improvement. But again, the woman you meet, no matter how traditionally feminine she might be, could be friends or family with somebody that doesn't fit what you view as a normal citizen of the world. Moving on to, ironically enough, distance yourself. Look, and I had to learn this lesson. This one's personal. You have to distance yourself from friends and family members that are constantly criticizing and invading your relationship status. People who are constantly trying to say that you're GAY. People who are constantly talking about, in a bad way, because you don't get me wrong, you can talk about your your dating life, but talk about it in a vulgar, disrespecting, condescending way that makes you feel bad about yourself and question yourself and second guess yourself and the things that you're trying to do for yourself by yourself. If you find anybody, friends or family member, that is making you uncomfortable with their conversations about intercourse and dating, you need to remove yourself from around that person or keep yourself a distance from them the best that you can. Because this person knows that you're insecure, knows that you're hurting, knows that you need some real advice on problem solving and finding somebody special so you could get the same happiness, but instead of helping you, they're kicking you while you're down. And if you stop hanging out with them and they don't want to apologize, this is a person you should have never been around to begin with because they was never your friend. And that also goes again for the manosphere podcasters and political commentators on the right. It's because, again, those people don't see you as a man that's struggling in the world, even though they know that you are. They see you as a view, a donation, a merchandise buyer, or somebody that's crazy enough to buy into one of their scam universities or dating programs. So that's why they're flaunting their dating life, which is ironic because often at the time, a lot of people that flaunt their dating life and say that they're doing this, that, and the other are often at the time lying. Like, you'll have people that'll be, and because it starts when you're a kid. Oh, I'm 13 and I lost my virginity to a 25-year-old and shit. Even though that happens, unfortunately, a lot of people lie about their successes, or their successes is manufactured. Because there's a lot of people out here that unfortunately use their paycheck to keep women around. And that's not real love. That's not a real interpersonal relationship. That's not a functioning marriage. That's just sex work. We're pro sex work on this channel, but at the end of the day, sex work, though it might provide similar stimulation with being in a relationship with somebody, it's not the same. Continuing with that thought, I just had to ironically help my wife bring the baby in and stuff like that. But continuing with that thought, again, if somebody is in your life being like, let's face it, YouTube, being a sex pest and narcissistically describing how much intercourse and interplay they're having with women, or people who pay women to be around them are constantly flaunting it and stuff like that. A lot of these people are liars, and dealing with sex workers is not the same as having a interpersonal relationship with a woman. While this channel is pro sex work, be wary of people who use sex work to boost their number of partners. So that's the thing that happens. But not just that, but because you shouldn't be comparing yourself to other people anyways. Because if you have a life that you want to live and things that you want to do, you mostly just want to worry about the things you do. You want to worry about the things that you want to achieve, not comparing yourself to a million other people. Everybody's life is different. Dating is not just a roulette. Because it's a part of life, life is roulette. And different people are going to have different experiences. And just because you found a partner at this time or that time, or you found somebody at this time or the other time, doesn't mean that it's bad. It doesn't mean that you did anything wrong. It just means that your life went and developed differently. And that's okay. You don't have to try to lose your virginity as young as possible, as soon as possible. There's other things to do, and this is a good segue, besides that. So if you got hobbies and things that you like to do outside of work, whether it's playing Yu-Gi-Oh, Beyblading, playing basketball, football, sports betting, whatever it is that, other men like to do besides myself, is indulge in those hobbies and enjoy yourself. In this cold capitalist society where we can rarely find happiness in simple times to sit down and enjoy life, it is really good for you to find things that you can do to turn your brain off and understand that life is outside of trying to achieve things or prove something to somebody or even improve stuff to yourself. It's okay to relax, not think about dating, not think about finding a relationship. Just go to work, or if it's your day off, just stay home and watch TV. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with you because you're still a virgin. There's nothing wrong with you because it's been a while since you had a wife or a girlfriend or whatever. There's nothing wrong with you at all. Because, and this is the ending note, is that everybody, men and women, and everybody in between, are living more isolated. It is not just a men's issue or a woman's issue. It's a capitalism and isolation issue. It's a internet issue where we're living more distance from one another, where they are literally closing down places. Like, for instance, I think, at least in my brother's generation, but technically mine too, because I'm a millennial. I was born like 6 years after him, not even to the 10-year marker and stuff like that, like my wife would be after him. But I was born 6 years after my brother, and a lot of these people in his generation from the 1980s, the late 1980s, but I even say the 70s and 60s, met in public areas. Churches, malls, but especially for teenagers and young adults, malls, malls, driving movie theaters in general, um, arcades and what have you, and other places I can't even name. Oh, community centers, remember those? And parks, remember those? Again, I know I said that twice, but I'm just saying because it's like far and few, and even in Detroit to find a park, let alone adults hanging out at a park just to go for a walk or something. So to end this, everybody is living more isolated, and don't feel guilty or think that the loneliness is tilted or one-sided, because if you're a man by yourself, there's literally tons of women that are by themselves. So all the emotions of loneliness, sexual frustration, depression, and angst about your place in the world, you sitting in your apartment feeling like that, it's a woman about two doors down feeling the same exact way. I'm not saying go knock. My point is that we're not so different than one another that I dare say a lot of manosphere people and feminists make it seem. Women, though in their different ways, deal with the same problems you deal with. And that's all I got for right now. Now, maybe in the future, I'll give a part 2 about navigating interpersonal relationships. But if you skip to the end of this video, or if I post a clip, just remember to take care of yourself and do the best you can. And that's all that really matters in life. Life is not about massive achievements and wealth and impressing people, because the real wealth is in satisfaction, is in the honesty, and it's in the hard work that you put forward. And even if you don't get 100% to where you are or where you want to be, that's okay too, because you're still alive and you can keep trying. Don't forget to look out for any resources. If you want to go to therapy, go to a social worker. If you're still struggling with this and you want more of this, just hit me in the comments below with any message, with anything that you want me to talk about, any subject in particular, even if you disagree. You have a good one. This has been Escape Punk Lefty, hoping that all the men out there can find peace of mind in the cold ass capitalist world.